Remember riding our bikes to Dairy Queen on Sunday evenings? Or having the best birthdays ever at Farrell's? Let's take a quick trip back to the most popular dessert places from the past. Do they still exist? And why did we love them so much? Ready? Howard Johnson's.
Good food, good fun, kids count to 28 flavors just for you at Howard Johnson's. Next stop.
Back in the day, spotting that bright orange roof meant you were in for a treat. Howard Johnson's wasn't just a restaurant, it was an experience. Starting as an ice cream stand in the 1920s Massachusetts, it grew into a nationwide chain of restaurants and motor lodges. But what most people remember? The ice cream. With 28 flavors, a big deal at the time, it became a favorite road trip stop. Kids would race to the counter, debating between chocolate chip, butter pecan, or the legendary orange sherbet. Those scoops, served in classic metal dishes with whipped cream and a cherry, were pure magic. By the 1960s, it was the largest restaurant chain in the U.S. with over 1,000 locations. Families didn't just come for the ice cream. They loved the full meals and the warm, reliable service. And the fried clam strips? Iconic. Fried clams followed by ice cream. Now, that was a perfect stop. Once everywhere, now almost gone. As fast food took over and travel changed, this roadside favorite faded away. Still, for many, Howard Johnson's means road trips, family time, and that first bite of summer ice cream. So tell me, what was your go-to flavor? Dairy Queen.
In the land of Dairy Queen, we treat you right.
This was the place to be in summer. Remember riding bikes to Dairy Queen for a banana split? Those were the days. It all began in 1940 in Illinois when two men perfected soft serve and opened the first DQ, selling over 1,600 servings in just 2 hours. By 1947, there were 100 stores. By 1955, over 2,600. In small towns, DQ was the after-game stop, the birthday treat, the Sunday night tradition. We didn't get treats like that often, so when we did, it felt truly special. Some of its classics came in those years: the Buster Bar in 1968, the Peanut Buster in 1971. But the real game changer? The Blizzard, launched in 1985, thick and creamy enough to flip upside down without spilling. Who remembers getting their sundaes in those Baskin-Robbins mini baseball helmets? Such great summer memories. DQ is still here today, but for those who grew up in the 70s and 80s, the memories are golden. Road trips, family nights, and summer evenings when Dairy Queen was more than dessert, it was the place to hang out. Farrell's Ice Cream Parlor. If you walked into a Farrell's in the 70s or 80s, you remember the buzz? Founded in 1963 in Portland, Oregon, it had a playful early 1900s vibe. Red-striped walls, upbeat music, and staff in little hats and suspenders made every visit feel like a party. Birthdays were legendary. A free sundae, sirens, whistles, clapping, and cheering until you felt like the star of the show. The most famous treat? The zoo. A giant bowl of ice cream and toppings paraded out on a stretcher with full fanfare. Order the pig's trough and finish it all, and you'd earn a button declaring, "I made a pig of myself at Farrell's." Who remembers that? At its peak in 1975, there were over 120 locations nationwide. It was the go-to spot for birthdays, family dinners, and unforgettable ice cream memories. But the candy store with its barrels of sweets was my favorite part. But like many favorites from the past, Farrell's changed. After being sold, it lost its magic and slowly disappeared. The last location closed in 2019 in California. It's sad to see something so loved disappear. Sometimes it really is true. Don't fix what isn't broken. Baskin-Robbins.
So get that very wonderful feeling. Someday, some more, at your very wonderful
31 flavors promised a new ice cream adventure every day. It began in 1945 in California when brothers-in-law Bert and Herb dreamed up one flavor for each day of the month. The chocolate peanut butter? So good. By the 1980s, Baskin-Robbins was everywhere. Walking in felt like stepping into a pastel dream. Pink and brown decor, rows of ice cream tubs behind glass, and those tiny pink sample spoons. Many of us even had our first jobs there, scooping sundaes, making banana splits, and decorating ice cream cakes. Choosing was part of the fun. Mint chocolate chip, baseball nut, or a slice of their famous ice cream cake. They even served sundaes in mini baseball helmets, just like Dairy Queen. So much fun. And prices? Back in the 70s, a single scoop cone was only 19 cents, and a double was just 37 cents. Can you believe it? By the late 70s, they'd reached 1,000 stores. Over time, the brand changed hands, eventually joining the Duncan family. Today, Baskin-Robbins still exists and continues to serve up sweet nostalgia. Though it's harder to find, their ice cream makes it worth the trip. Is it just us, or did ice cream taste better in those little baseball helmets back in the day? Friendlies.
Delicious Sundays and ice cream from Friendlies. The taste will make you smile.
Known for its cozy booths, cheerful service, and the unforgettable clown sundae, Friendlies was something special. Started in 1935 by brothers Presley and Curtis Blake in Springfield, Massachusetts, it grew from a small ice cream shop into a beloved family favorite across the Northeast and Midwest. The menu had it all: juicy burgers, grilled cheese, hot fries, bottomless soup. But the ice cream counter was the star. Kids loved junior sundaes, colorful friendship drinks, and the Reese's Pieces. Sundae with butter crunch ice cream. We sure miss those days. Now a cone costs almost $5. The burgers were great too, and the food overall just seemed better back then. It wasn't fancy, but it was always fun. For many, it was lunch with Mom and Grandma during a shopping day. Just good food, friendly smiles, and a warm, cozy feeling that stayed with you. By the 1980s, Friendlies had over 500 locations. The Blake brothers sold to Hershey Foods in 1979, and after several ownership changes, the chain filed for bankruptcy in 2011. Today, only about 100 locations remain, all on the East Coast. And that clown sundae, just thinking about it brings back all the feelings. Good humor, ice cream trucks.
Good humor ice cream in every store. If it's taste you want, you couldn't ask for more.
In the 1950s and 60s, nothing thrilled a kid more than hearing the Good Humor ice cream truck jingle. You had just enough time to run inside, grab a dime, and join the neighborhood kids at the curb. The Good Humor man, always in a crisp white uniform and cap, was a hero on wheels. During its golden years, these trucks were everywhere. Even in the 70s and 80s, they still rolled through neighborhoods, though less often as times began to change. Somehow, the Good Humor man could reach deep into the freezer and pull out exactly what you'd asked for, without even looking. Strawberry shortcake bars were a favorite, cold, creamy, and perfectly sweet. Every kid had their go-to treat. Back then, 10 cents bought pure joy on a hot day. The world seemed slower, people kinder, and kids could just be kids. It's a kind of neighborhood today's generation may never experience. Today, the Good Humor trucks are mostly gone, replaced by modern food trucks or convenience stores. But the memory of those summer afternoons, it's something we'll never forget. Carvel.
Carvel ice cream. Carvel ice cream.
If you grew up on the East Coast, you probably remember that classic soft-serve spot with walk-up windows and unforgettable ice cream cakes. It all began in 1929 when Tom Carvel's truck got a flat tire and he started selling melting ice cream on the spot. People loved it. By 1934, he opened his first roadside stand in New York, and a legend was born. What made it special? Creamy soft serve, dipped cones with sprinkles, or jimmies, and iconic cakes like Fudgy the Whale and Cookie Puss. And those commercials. Tom himself did the voiceovers, gravelly, unpolished, and completely genuine. In the 70s and 80s, you could find a Carvel almost anywhere in the Northeast. Small shops with big freezers and friendly faces behind the counter. A 50-cent cone could turn your whole day around. At its peak in the 1980s, there were over 800 locations. Today, there are about 320 to 360, mostly on the East Coast and in Florida. Smaller than before, but still serving that same nostalgic magic that made summer days unforgettable. Tasty Freeze. The soft serve was perfect, the burgers hit the spot, and getting a cone on the walk home felt like the highlight of summer. That was Tasty Freeze, a true American classic. It all began in 1950 in Joliet, Illinois, and it didn't take long to catch on. By 1952, there were over 300 locations, and just 5 years later, that number had exploded to nearly 1,800. What made it so popular? Quick service, friendly prices, and flavors everyone loved. Ice cream cones came in all sizes, starting at just 5 cents, perfect for kids with pocket change. You could grab a soft serve cone, a thick shake, or a hot fudge malt. And it wasn't just the sweets. The burgers and sandwiches were surprisingly good, too. By the 1970s and 80s, things started to slow down. The expansion stopped, and many locations faded away. But the charm never left. Today, you can still find a taste of the past in a few remaining spots. Swensens ice cream. Stepping into a Swensens in the 1980s felt like walking into an old-fashioned ice cream parlor. It all began back in 1948 in San Francisco, when Earl Swensen started making ice cream with one goal in mind: to make it good as Father used to make. By the 80s, the chain had spread to nearly 400 shops across the U.S. Kids would press their noses to the glass, trying to decide between bubble gum, Rocky Road, or maybe the banana split with extra whipped cream. Many locations had a full diner menu too, but the star was always the ice cream. Over time, American shops closed and the brand faded, leaving only a few, like the original in San Francisco and one in Miami. Just thinking about those giant sundaes and colorful booths takes you right back, doesn't it? Foster's Freeze. In sunny California, nothing hit the spot like a creamy, soft serve from Foster's Freeze. It began in 1946 in Inglewood, when George Foster opened the first location. Instant success followed, and by 1951 he had sold 360 locations for a cool $1 million. Huge for the time. The soft serve was smooth, the burgers hot, and the milkshakes thick enough to make you work for each sip. By 1987, locations had dropped below 200, and over time, many disappeared. Yet for countless Californians, Foster's Freeze stayed part of their story. Some communities even fought to save their local stands. Proof it was more than fast food, it was tradition. Today, about 60 locations remain, all but one in California. The stands might be fewer, but the nostalgia still strong. So before you go, what was your favorite ice cream place from the 70s or 80s? Let us know in the comments.